Hey, I'm Sanjay. Welcome to Grad. Episode number 15, Master in School, Work, and Living in Japan with Olivia Carter. Let's go. What?
And
I didn't know this.
what? Calm down.
Tell me more. Did I know this? Did I even have this written down? You did not tell me this.
Okay, surprise. So yeah.
Go ahead. Tell me more about doing your masters and doing your masters online in a new country with a language you don't know and working to pay off your expensive car loans. No, not car loans. and working. How was that?
It was
Because I've been intrigued. I know many people do that.
It was very hard. I didn't really want to do it. I actually wanted to go to school full time for my master's, but then I'm like, okay, you need to maintain that steady flow of income, and that was a thing. I always want to remain financially independent and stable. So I'm like, I can't give up my income, so and I wasn't getting. I tried for scholarships, but maybe not hard enough. So I actually pursued my master's with a college in the United States, and I did my master's in teaching English as a second or foreign language. So yeah, I'm certified in that area. Wow, and it was hard. Wow. I worked 6 days.
I can imagine. The time, everything. I can't. Wow. Hats off to you.
It was hard, but God is good.
I did a course once.
Online?
When I was there. Yeah, an online course to specialize also in teaching English as a second language. And I was so tired. Jeez.
Really? It's not easy.
I was like, how do people do whole
really not
degree
easy.
programs? It's not easy. And I had a little self-discipline then. So that was not good.
But that propelled you to
party
leave
a lot.
You partied a lot. That's right.
I mean, not too much, but I did go out, and I like going out. So it was a whole blend of chaos. Yeah. Really.
Well, I guess that's not a problem of mine. I don't go out as much. I'm a homebody, so that helped. So I'd work Monday to Saturday, and I just use Sundays to do the assignments and to ensure that I meet the deadlines and stuff.
So organization was key.
Yeah. But
so what would you say? Wait, you have a but. Go ahead, say it. Is that a?
But I'm happy that I did it. I'm happy that I think you should, occupy your time as wisely as possible. Because I was here and I felt as if my brain was dying, and that's the thing you would experience here too. Because you're not using your language, because you're not using your English brain. And
I'm just letting you talk because it happened to me. I felt brain dead for a good while because you end up you're teaching English and
but it's basic English.
It was not at an advanced level. So my mind was so to say. And you're trying to learn Japanese to him. That was at a basic level. So everything was very basic in communication. So sometimes I'd speak to my friends and I felt like I was just going to say blah, 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 blah.
So it really does affect
nice to hear, though.
Your language ability. And sometimes I literally get to the point where I'm like, I'm forgetting my words. I'm forgetting how to express myself. And when you live in isolation too, it really doesn't help. But now, I'm becoming more interactive with my community.
Now you're partying more and churching more. I'll add that. I'll add the churching part.
Yeah. But so that helps. So yeah.
Good. So what would you say to what's up with my throat? I have some tea here. Hold on. What would you say to the Jamaican student or American student, Canadian student, many people go to Japan, not just Jamaicans, uh, who is thinking of going to Japan to repay student loans or live a
Mm-hmm.
little life in a gap year, what would you say to
Mm-hmm.
them? Would you advise them to do it? Would you say don't do it? I mean, not only based on your experience, but what
Mm-hmm.
you've seen around you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What's your advice to that confused graduate?
I would say go for it. I would definitely say go for it. But before you do an evaluation of yourself, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um on my podcast, and this is a little promo again. We talked about,
I just almost rolled my eyes. I was like, is this a paid ad? I did not hear about this, but go ahead. On your podcast.
We talked that there were 4 Jamaican ladies there, and one of the things that we talked about different things, but one of them was mental health. And if it is that you can't, if it is that you are someone who really can't do with being alone, moving to Japan is definitely not the thing for you, because until you establish a community, you will be on your own for a while, and it's a very isolating space. And if you're, if you're alone, it doesn't help. So ensure that you're mentally set, and sure of who you are. Another thing is, it's multifaceted, so another thing is, you will go through identity crisis here, because as a foreigner, it's not, oh, he is black, he's white, he's, no, it's, you're Japanese, you're a foreigner, that's it. There are certain ways of treating people based on the color of skin and so on in other respects, but I have found when you do your work well, and you're lovable, that sometimes does not really affect you in the workplace and in the workspace. You're a foreigner, you're Japanese, but it can affect you in society, how you interact. And you'll be on the train and someone is like, oh, I'm not going to sit next to this person, or
yeah,
some, you will be seated and someone will get up and move. Or I have experienced where I'm walking on the street on this side and someone is coming on the same side, and then they see me coming, and so they move to the other side, and and when we pass each other, the person comes back on this side. It's a lot of exercise.
Exercise, you call it?
So if those things, and for a while it did affect me, I'm not going to lie, it does, play on your psyche, and sometimes even your self-esteem. But then when you check yourself, you look in the mirror like, yes, girl.
I wish I could see it right now.
And you're reminded, of the goddess in you and stuff, right? You or the light that you carry, you kind of fall back into your reassuring yourself that you are.
It's a thing when you move to other countries. It's when you move out of your comfortable bubble, you experience so many different things, and sometimes it's about perspective. But sometimes we all have the same experience, including that walking on the other side of the road.
That is true.
You can't ignore some things. It's just, it happens.
Yeah, but a perspective,
you have to be mentally strong.
Right. A perspective that was brought up in the discussion too is that you start to realize that you're the only black person in the room. And you being the only black person in the room, to me, right now, I've taken it on as such a blessing, because when someone sees me in a room, more often than not, it allows them to be themselves, the self that they have not been able to be, being Japanese or being a foreigner. Because I am I do not restrain myself in some respects. If I want to laugh, I'm gonna laugh, and as loudly as I want to.
So we hear, so we heard that in this episode. Yes, you just let
And
it go.
right, and I think people are drawn to that. And
Yeah,
if it is that I want to sing, I'm going to sing wherever I want to. So it allows you being the only anything in a room. You twist that narrative according how you would like to twist it. So yeah, yeah. So now it's
wow,
like,
you just sharing your confidence with the world right now. I
yeah,
like that.
yeah. And now I'm with high school boys and girls, and it's great. And it's in an environment where they're able to communicate in English, and it's great to see them come to me and to just share, some of their experiences and how they feel about themselves and their,
Yeah,
and you are the light. You're different, and that difference, though some view it negatively, you twist it and you make it into what you want it to be. Yeah, so it's not like I'm different.
get
Right,
it.
right. So it's not I'm different, it's I'm different. Yes,
Yeah,
kind of thing. Yeah, so
that's a very good way to look at it, and
yeah,
of course, it's something that anyone needs to consider when they're
yeah,
moving
yeah,
to somewhere like
yeah.
Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, initially in your head, you're saying, I'm going to pay my student loan. I
Yeah.
can do it. You've heard stories, people have done it. But
When you're
that story
disciplined.
comes with other stories too.
Yes, it
There are
does.
many things in that story.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's a full story. And
Yeah.
I like your story. I told you your story was much more fun than mine.
I don't know about that.
What city did you move to initially?
I moved to and I have always been an Osakan girl.
Ah, yeah.
Yes, so I live in Osaka. I'm happy.
So you had life easy.
What? What are you talking about? Wait,
So here's a thing for anyone considering to move to Japan.
Osaka's a place.
It is. I lived there too in my
Osaka's a
latter
place.
years, but there's a strong possibility that you might live in the countryside.
Yeah.
Wait, so you moved to Osaka and you had that language issue on the first couple of days? What? I don't get that.
Yes, yes. Remember, it's my first time
Uh-uh.
leaving
No, no, no.
Jamaica.
I don't know, because I
Don't
moved to
judge
the
me.
countryside.
Why
I
are you
moved to the
judging me?
countryside.
Don't
I
judge
moved to
me.
the countryside
Don't judge me. Don't judge me.
because Osaka has some English,
Don't judge me. Don't judge me.
right? All right, so I moved to the countryside and
Yeah, that's
there was
yeah.
nothing, like
Mm-hmm.
nothing at
Yeah.
all.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I wanted to, what did I want to do? I wanted to go somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
and I went to a convenience store, a 7-Eleven.
Yes.
It wasn't a 7-Eleven at the
Mm.
time, another store.
Mm-hmm.
And I was asking the cashier, and then it hit me that my Japanese was so poor and
Mm-hmm.
he didn't know a word in English. How are we going to communicate? But luckily, this guy was nice enough.
Mm-hmm.
I say nice enough, and to this day, I wish I saved the map. He drew a map,
Yes, they do that a
a
lot.
whole
They do that a
nice
lot.
map with
Yes.
key. And I was just looking at it like Google could not have done
A
this as
better
well.
job, right?
What is this?
They
I was
are,
so grateful.
yeah, they do.
Uh,
But
So I mean, that's the country life.
yeah, so that points to that goes back again to what I was saying. Like moving here, you can't often guarantee where it is that you'll be placed, especially if you come through
Mhm.
like Interact or Jet. They can put you wherever they want to.
Anywhere.
And if you're in the countryside, it's hard because most people there don't speak English, or their English level is, not as good. But if you're like in a city area like Tokyo or Osaka, there'll be more English, and their English ability might be better, or the signs at least would be in 3 or 4 languages: Korean, Chinese, Japanese, and English. Um,
Yeah.
so that's a perk of living in the city. What I like about Osaka is it's a mixture of the city and just, rootsy, down to earth people, so
It's the food place. I love that place. I miss that place. I'm looking forward to visit.
what
So
place?
I'm Osaka.
Osaka,
I
yes. Yes.
really miss
You
I miss my countryside city too, yeah. But Osaka, I miss the down to earth food vibe too. The food is
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. And like I often there's a lady that lives close to where I live, and whenever I'm walking out in the morning, she'd be like, do you have your umbrella? Come on. If you have a big bag, if I'm traveling with something
yeah,
big,
yeah, yeah.
she's asking me, where are you going? Or where did you go? And
Oh,
I'm
that's
like,
so cute.
oh, grandma, thanks. And that's different from like life in Tokyo, where people are there's more of a blasé culture where no one really
You
cares.
know I don't like Tokyo vibe. So I just add that in. Sorry.
Where no one
Don't
really
like it.
cares about you,
No.
or it's a city, there's so many people don't have time to really care about other
Yeah,
persons. But if you want great shopping, Tokyo's the place, so
it
you're more
is.
likely to find international shopping malls and spaces and people there. So yeah. And if you're interested in dating, maybe Tokyo is a great place to meet someone too. So yeah.
You should see my face. What? Ooh, talking about the
Hey,
romantic side of Japan now.
I know nothing about it, so no.
Oh yeah, right. All right. All right. I'll ask your friends. I'll ask my friends if they've seen you anywhere
I'm
on the
sure they
dating
won't.
scene. All right.
I'm sure they won't. It's true. I don't have a dating life here, so yeah.
All right. We'll say that for another episode. Dating while abroad with Olivia. You can be the whole guest host of that episode.
But
Actually,
I don't have anything to say.
we'll get into it.
All right, sir.
We'll
All
get into
right.
it. I'll get into it. I'm a
Ah,
behavioral scientist. I think I know methods that I can get you to speak up
all right.
about these personal experiences.
All right. All right.
But Olivia, thank you. This has been so good.
Thank you.
I mean, I especially did this episodes. This is gonna be 2 episodes, by the
Mm-hmm.
way. I especially did this for graduates who
Mm-hmm.
are scared of taking that big leap to move to
Mm-hmm.
somewhere like Japan,
Mm-hmm.
where they have no idea what
Right.
it's
Right.
like.
Right.
I thank you for sharing your experience.
It's
It
been
was
my
a fun experience.
pleasure. I hope
Do
I
you have
didn't.
anything else you want to say? Because we can make some more episodes later. Later this week or
No,
next month
I
we
think
can
I've
we can
talked
bring you
enough.
on.
I think I've talked
No, we want
enough.
to get into Olivia's life on
Right.
Wisegrad.
Oh, wow. Well,
Yes, but thank you so much. Anything else you want to plug in? Anyone to follow you anywhere or do anything?
yes, just check out Olivia's podcast you can watch the podcast on YouTube, and you can listen on Spotify at Olivia's podcast. And yeah, that's it.
That's it.
And if one wants to follow me on Instagram,
Ooh, celebrity.
it's private, so MC Queen B68. There you go, and we can talk.
But please don't spam her with messages about Japan. I think this episode contained a lot, and it happens sometimes. And you
Really?
find someone. I can't imagine 50 people now sending you
It's
questions
fine.
about Japan.
I would
It is
answer
fine.
them eventually. Eventually.
Oh, eventually, which could mean 3 months from now. But okay, she said it. You can
It's
ask her a
fine.
lot, but
Yeah.
I can't do too many.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mhm.
definitely, you can send questions and such to Wisegrad. Email
Eventually.
info@wisegrad.org, or you head to the website. I'll put the information, all of Olivia's information. You can
Thank
contact
you.
her for info on moving to Japan to pay off your student loan, dates, anything. You'll get that information on wisegrad.org. Thank you, Olivia.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you so much. And thank you for listening to this episode of Wisegrad. Wisegrad helps students to thrive, so don't keep it to yourself. Share it with your friends. Head to wisegrad.org or Wisegrad on Instagram, Wisegrad on Twitter. Wisegrad is everywhere. So thank you for clicking play and not clicking next. Until next time, goodbye.